Yeah.
Oh no!
Matt, what the hell was that?
Wasn't me, Coach. Welcome to the Straight Red Card. Get off our lawn.
Welcome to the Straight Red Card. You know, I think I'm going to work on a new intro over this break. Yeah. Why not? You know,
this break.
What break? Yeah. No, I'm not going to work tomorrow. Are you?
No, I just assumed that when you said break, most people think of break, they think of like Christmas break, and sometimes kids are not at school and stuff like that. So it's just weird when you said break and you just meant this extended weekend.
You have kids. You don't get a break. That's how it goes, Brett. I had kids. I remember. There was no such thing as a break. You know, unless they were gone for the weekend or something, you know, at a relative's house. But yeah, other than that, there are really no breaks when you're a parent. The turd in the background says, "All rise and welcome Derek and Brett from the Straight Red Card. Brett said he's going to use my tidbits when he defends Gregg. Bald men need to stick together. Berhalter in my wife." Now we've gone to Berhalter is having sex with your wife. All right.
It's been like that for a while, man. The turd's been posting that stuff. Been very active.
Yeah, I got to get back to Twitter here. I mean, I expect you to send me some baloney sometimes so I can get
on Twitter. I don't do it as often.
Yeah, but you're going to have to still alert me when there's baloney, because otherwise
I've got baloney ready for you.
I won't find it on my own. That's what I'm saying. I won't find it on my own. By the way, I watched this video today. It was recommended to me on my feed on YouTube, and it was Bad Baby. Something about flip-flops. It was a video. It's kind of a cool video. David Spade was in it. That was funny. But then I looked it up. Apparently, this video was done when she was like 15 or 16 years old. She don't look 15, that's for sure. And then she just turned 18, and she immediately joined OnlyFans and started posting sexually not explicit photos, but teasing photos. I don't know. I only read the news article and they had things blurred out. So maybe she did show her boobies or whatever. But that's a weird thing. So you started off on, I read a whole article about her. So she started off on Dr. Phil when at the age of 14 as that, you know, whiny, bitchy, like daughter that, you know, she needed guidance or whatever. She was out of control, basically.
So you're saying she got guidance on how to operate a webcam.
Well, she apparently did a lot more than that. And I can't remember her catchphrase. Maybe somebody can tell me what her catchphrase was on Dr. Phil. It was like, meet you outside or something like that. I'll beat your ass. I don't remember what it was. But nobody's given us the info, Brett. Nobody knows Bad Baby? Bad Baby. What was her catchphrase?
Eric is 20 years behind.
No, I'm not. She's just turned 18.
Ha 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 ha.
She just turned 18. She's on Dr.
Catch Me Outside. How about that?
There we go. Catch Me Outside.
Jose had it first.
Yeah. So that was her big, and off of this Dr. Phil thing, and apparently I think her mom was pretty well off. What the hell was all that noise? Yeah, she made a career on making rap music and looking, I guess, as African American as she can possibly look, as a half Jewish, Polish, and Italian woman, which, you know, we can get into the Italians if you want, but I'm not going to. But, you know, a lot of Moorish history in Italy. Anyhow, I just found it fascinating. I'm like, so there's this girl. She just turned 18. The first thing she does is post fucking OnlyFans videos. I don't know, man. We're living in a different fucking world.
Sounded like a winner at the age of 14. Give her a couple more years.
With the flippy floppy thing? The flip flop song? It's not a bad song. That song's not bad. And the video's actually kind of Gucci flip-flops. Thank you. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny.
Lance had that. Geez, about 3 or 4 minutes ago, and I had no idea what he was even talking about. I did not even pull up my Gucci flip-flops. What the fuck's he talking about?
She has a whole song about Gucci flip-flops. I don't know what the song's about, but the video is funny. Anyhow, just a weird world we live in, where that gets you famous now. And yes, thank you so much, Jonathan. The great Pele, or as we called him when I was a kid, Pele, because we didn't know any better. He died.
We say potato, right?
Yeah, I think whatever you want to call him, as long as it's sort of in the realm of Pele or Pele or whatever.
At that point, you're talking about accents. I mean, how you say stuff.
No,
you're saying the exact same thing.
I got to know Pele, not personally. When I was a kid, I was going to Cosmos games and in New York, and he was on the team. And it was amazing because then Franz Beckenbauer was on the team. It was crazy. And I knew who Franz Beckenbauer was, and I'd only heard the rumors of how great Pele was. And by the way, that period of history in the late 70s, early 80s, I don't know if it got that far, but was amazing. Soccer stadiums were packed wherever this guy went. Everybody wanted to watch Pele play. And yeah, I did as a kid. I thought he was awesome. I thought everybody on the
this was like the whole designated player situation for MLS is basically when the big names come into town, the stadiums back up, and then when the big names leave the town.
Well, that was part of the problem. Part of the problem with this was that the New York Cosmos were spending some serious fucking Disney ass money, right? No one could compete with the amount of money they were spending and the players they were buying. I mean, you had George Best come in and play for the Aztecs later on. But yeah, I mean, what happens is you had a lot of small market teams that couldn't survive longer than 2 years because they couldn't compete. They just couldn't. They tried to go out and buy good players, but most of them bought them from England. And they would, a lot of these English players would come over in the off season and play in the old NASL. I know it was different times, but rest in peace, my friend. I mean, God, the guy didn't age for it seemed like forever, and then he aged really quickly. So I wish him and his family the very best. He's a legend. He always will be, and I'm glad to have said I got to watch him play live as a child. Thank you, Pele, for everything. And for moving the game forward. It really did move forward. By the way, I read a poll today. I don't know why this popped up, but he said most people look stupid when they dance, but 68% of the people that look stupid when they dance don't know they look stupid when they dance. Random fact. I don't dance.
So I'm a phenomenal dancer. I mean, that's my wife. She'll lie, but she'll lie and say I'm not because she needs beat my confidence down a bit. But I'm a phenomenal dancer.
Brett, I just cannot see that being true.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess before we get too far away from Pele, at least read Alfred's comment here. Come on.
All right. I first saw Pele out at Randall's Island playing for Santos versus Eusebio and Benfica. Yeah, and the great Eusebio. What a fucking great era for soccer it was. Jesus. Yeah, I don't believe you, by the way, on the dancing thing. I'm sorry.
If you want to be wrong,
I'm sure you're
perfectly your decision to be wrong.
I'm sure you're not as bad as like Elaine on Seinfeld, but I'm just not seeing it getting much better than just a step up from that. And by the way, men dancing, listen, unless you're John Travolta in his 20s.
I know how you dance. You're going to rock back side to side. No. Have you ever seen the movie Hitch?
No. Don't describe it. It won't help.
No. Kevin, he's like Will Smith is teaching Kevin Smith how to be a ladies' man, basically, trying to get the girl he wants. And they talk about there's going to be dancing at this party. And he's like, oh, I got that down. He starts, arms flailing all over the place. He's like, stop it. He's like, here's what you do. He's just like one step to the side and then one step back to the side, and it's just back and forth. I'm like, so I know how to dance. I watch Titch. He teaches.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
No,
I don't buy it. But
I get better at dancing the more I drink, oddly enough.
no, you don't.
Oh.
You just think you do. All right. That's everything in life with drinking. Oh man, I'm great in bed. No, you're probably not. Probably not that great in bed when you drink too much. You're probably a big selfish pig. All right. We should.
There's real quick.
Go ahead.
Real quick. We've got a bunch of stuff to go over. But yeah, we're. Do you remember the bar downtown called Ike's and Josie's?
Yeah.
So
never been there.
Well, it's closed now, so you can't go there anymore.
No, I know. I never was there when it was open. So
well, it was funny because there on the dance floor there was this guy who had his shirt unbuttoned down, mid 40s, 50s area range, shirt buttoned down, and he's like doing this like Bernie dance almost. So I went out there, unbuttoned my shirt down, and I started doing the exact same thing. He's like, "Dude, I love your moves." I'm like, "Thanks."
No, you didn't.
This is a legit story. You can ask Evie next time you see her.
How old were you?
Mid-20s.
Okay, believe it.
Older, yeah.
I believe it then.
Oh yeah.
You didn't do that yesterday, though. I can tell you that much. You have a little more.
Go to the clubs now. Fuck that. I just want to lie down in bed, watch a little YouTube, and go to sleep at this point.
A little more dignity now than you did then.
Oh, no. If I get a little booze in me, I'll still make an ass of myself.
Jesus. Yes, we've seen that on this show. I am watching that series 1883, by the way. It's part of the whole Yellowstone series. It's
yes.
It's Sam, what's his name? Sam
Vines.
Elliott. He's so fucking good in this. He's so good in this. It's disgusting. Oh my god!
Good in everything he's in. I mean, he has one character, and it's Sam Elliott. But I mean, that rocks in just about every role he gets.
He's just a badass.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He's so good in this. I can't stop watching it. So I went through 3 of them last night, and at 1:40 in the morning, I went to bed because I'm like, okay, that's enough, Derek. I bet Brent is like Fred Astaire. I mean, Fred Flintstone. Ah, yes, Fred Flintstone. That is probably closer. So, do we want to take any emails or any?
Yeah, I got stuff to go over. We'll jump into the meat of the conversation later. We'll do our normal shtick.
Did you do any of those Tab Ramos comments?
No.
I love the one where Tab Ramos is basically mocking Gregg about, I mean, you can have the idea of having a right back that tucks in as a center defensive midfielder all you want. But guess what? The other team will figure it out. This is not that.
He hasn't really done that for a while now.
No, he did at the beginning though. Remember that?
Yes. Yeah, he put Tyler back there.
Yes. That was his
everyone's like
thing.
Fire Gregg, he's putting Tyler at right back.
/ center defensive midfielder. It's kind of weird. Yeah, I mean,
it works at Columbus. Why wouldn't it work now?
Can you not hear in Tab Ramos's his delivery or the way it's even quoted? You can imagine him saying those sentences. There's a disgruntled guy, Tab Ramos, as far as his relationship with Gregg Berhalter. Because you remember when he resigned, the big reason was he was forced with the youth teams to use Gregg's system. And he's, no, I'm not fucking doing that. I don't think that's how
Does he still want the youth system with Gregg here?
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, so it must have been like the very beginning of his tenure.
Gregg's, yes.
Yeah.
And Ernie Stewart sent it down from high that everybody's going to play the same system. Mm-hmm. And Tab's just like, nah, I'm going to resign. Fuck this. And then he went on to mock.
I'll go to
Gregg.
Houston.
Not do so well. But he also mocked the fact that Gregg even uses a system. He said the idea that the manager is the most important thing on the team
one of us
is not sensible. What you do with a national team, just like when Alda said, you have the best players, you get the best players available, and you work out something that works for them, not the other way around. You don't say, here's my rigid fucking little cocksucking system, and everybody's going to fit in it. And if you don't fit in it, you're out. Bye, John Brooks. Bye, Tim Ream, except for until the World Cup.
Until I really needed him.
Yeah. Bye, Reina, for most of the World Cup. If you're not fitting in, then
what would have happened if Tim Ream is ancient in soccer terms right now. But what would have happened if he had retired before the World Cup? Like if he wasn't doing well at Fulham, he's like, you know what? I'm hanging on my cleats.
Well, then he wouldn't have made the team.
No, I'm saying I guess he would have ended up relying on McKenzie. I was like, who would Gregg have fallen back on at that point?
Oh, that's what you mean.
Yeah,
Who would he fallen back on? Probably would have been CCV alongside. Yeah, that would be my guess. I was
referring to more or less just the call up in general, but yeah.
Well,
I guess there are a couple players that he could have called an EPB and McKenzie.
Yep.
In the instance that Ream was not available, but it was funny that with Richards going down, that he ends up calling Ream, despite the fact that not everybody, there's a handful of us, I guess, that have really been pushing. Call him in.
I think this is the good thing. Berhalter had watched probably Ream's last 6 or 7 games for Fulham and said, fuck, this is exactly what I need back there. I need a guy who can break the lines, and I don't simply have one. And when I get Tim Ream on my team, I'm going to require the other center back. I just watched video of Gregg during a break in the play, and I can't remember which game, yelling at Zimmerman, saying, no, pass the ball to Tim. Literally, you could read his lips. Pass the ball to Tim. He did not want.
You can't progress the ball. Give it to somebody who can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pass the ball to Tim.
I feel like that should have been something that should have been talked about before the game. Zimmerman, here's what you're going to do. You're going to get the ball. You're going to pass this to Tim, and Tim's going to play it forward.
I'm sure that was what was said. But then I don't think that Zimmerman said, you mean every time? Yes, every time.
I'm sure Zimmerman was, after getting scolded by Berhalter, was probably trying to look for Scally to call him out on something.
Maybe. I wish. Scally did well to keep his mouth shut so far.
Until after the World Cup. And then he had some choice. He didn't say anything really bad. He's like, hey, I'm starting for a Bundesliga team week in, week out. Yeah, I kind of expected to get some minutes.
Yeah.
Especially with one of the most consistent players to get subbed out in the second half was Dest. Yeah. Every match.
And we're going to play fucking more.
Got him already sitting here bagging on Berhalter.
More, who couldn't hold a jock strap on any player on the Bundesliga.
Mm-hmm.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
He cannot. He never got beyond the Segunda division in Spain, and he lost his starting spot there numerous times.
Wasn't he on the team when they were in La Liga and then got relegated?
Very, very brief and barely played. I'm trying to nip the naysayers in the bud right now. Early. We knew that. We already knew that. Yes. Yeah. I'm saying the majority of his career was spent in the Segunda.
Yes.
And he wasn't even a locked-in starter there.
No.
So now we're going to call that guy, instead of the guy that plays for fucking Mönchengladbach, is a regular starter for a season and a half now. And now we're just going to ignore that? Like, Shaq Moore is that much more experienced than fucking Joe Scally. He's certainly not more skilled. He certainly doesn't have, some of the basic technical ability that Scally has as a right back. I don't get it. These are, hey, we'll get into the trial, but there's evidence right there of what I call stupidity. All right, decipher me. The Brett, do you like Josh Sargent's style of play?
Yes. That was the answer. He asked a solid question. Oh, yes, I do like his style of play. I just wish with the national team he would get more service.
Yeah, I
wish all of our nines would get more service.
I wish for Norwich he actually just played the center forward position.
Yeah.
Because when he did, he scored. And now he's back to
They
playing
start trying to thrust
right winger, left winger,
or even second striker with Pookie. Either way, they try to thrust Pookie back in there, and they're not scoring goals. They're not winning games.
Of course, Pookie just scored.
Yeah, I know.
So,
and it's not necessarily something against Pookie, but I'm just saying you're forcing somebody into a lineup at that point.
Well, the problem with that
when
team,
one player has been consistently good when he starts there.
The problem with that team is not the defense, and it's not the offense, the forwards and the defenders. The problem with that team is the midfield. It's fucking god awful. It's atrocious how bad that team is. Well, Aaron sucks too. So I guess if we're talking about defenders, he's garbage.
Yeah, it's a lot of them.
So they're going to struggle. It's going to be a rough go, but at least they got rid of that fucking guy who always sabotaged Sargent throughout his whole career, even in the Rashiki. Yeah.
Yes. I know I said that, and I don't know why my mind went to the baboon and Lion King, because I think that's his name, isn't it? Is it?
I don't know. I don't remember that. I only watched it on VHS with my son back in 2005.
Still at VHSs, huh?
And I
it's Rafiki. Rafiki's the baboon.
Close enough.
Rashika.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was close, guys.
Where is Rashika now?
He went to Turkey, I thought. Did he go to Turkey? I thought he went to Turkey.
Maybe he did.
Yeah.
Fitting for his career.
Wasn't getting playing time with championship side.
One of the most selfish bastard ass players ever to play the fucking game. Selfish as fuck. Either that or
does one good thing out of 100 tries.
It's either selfishness or it is a complete lack of ability to find the open man who is obviously open and just blasting at yourself. I mean, the guy sabotaged his fucking whole career, being a total ignoramus. So, anyhow, more questions?
He was not Sargent's best friend. There's no way in hell. That guy never played him the fucking ball. I know he came from Bremen with him and everything like that, but there's no way. No way.
It is possible. Remember when we used to say that Sargent needs to grow a pair?
Sure.
Maybe he was still Rashika's best friend, even though Rashika was reaming his girl's ass every night. So
thank you, sir. Thank you.
And when I say that, I mean metaphorically.
Yeah.
That's what he was doing every game to Sargent, sabotaging Sargent. So
was Gene Smith sacked?
Wow.
I know there was a lot of talk of it and everything.
That's it could be a good or bad thing for Sargent because you got a new person coming in. I'm going to predict it's going to be good. I think the new guy coming in is going to say, listen, I'm putting Sargent at striker. Pookie, you play wherever the fuck you want. But Sargent,
you're coming off the bench. In fact, I'm probably going to play Ida over you at this point because we have maybe like half a season with you left before you hang up your cleats.
Fucking Norwich played better without Pookie.
Yeah.
Sargent scored more goals when Pookie wasn't there.
Won games.
Norwich scored more goals when Pookie wasn't there. The new Pookie scored what? 1 goal? Two goals this whole season?
Something like that, yeah.
Give me a break. I like Pookie. Don't get me wrong. He's a legend for Norwich. But so for
his time as a starter has passed.
It has. It really has.
Maybe started in case of like injury or giving somebody a rest on cup games or something like that. But as far as regular season, Norwich needs to do something different. Otherwise, they're going to remain in championship if they continue this route.
Or play them the other way around. Have Pookie play behind Sargent in that second striker position. Let Sargent make the runs for Pookie, who can play with his ball to his back to
his balls to the goal.
He can play with his back to the goal, distribute to a midfielder, and Sargent can make the run. But this other way around, I
don't know, man. Yeah, Sargent's change of point of attack, his distribution across the pitch has been pretty fucking solid in the championship.
It is, but Pookie doesn't make good runs behind the line. Yeah. Sargent can.
I don't disagree with you on this.
Yeah, so I just think if you want a guy in the box, definitely going to be in the box. When that cross comes, you want it to be Sargent, not Pookie. Pookie's like 5'11". Sargent's 6'2". You put
Oddly enough, a lot of his goals came from in the air, though. In the past, at least. I mean, obviously, we can't go off of recent events.
I get it because there's not many goals to go off there.
Yeah.
No fucking way go. Says Balogun should be the 9 moving forward. Needs to be recruited ASAP. Oh, he's being recruited. There is no doubt he has talked to Gregg on the phone. There have been discussions going on. He is being recruited.
Well, I think what Moose has been like a little earworm, just like, hey, it's good over here. Come over here, buddy.
They're best buddies. And I don't think the chances that Balogun will ever play on the English national team, I think they're low, low to medium low. And listen, again, everybody gives Gregg credit for, oh, look how great the culture is. Fuck that. All these kids knew each other already.
Yeah.
Don't give him credit for that. That's why the culture's so good. These boys have been hanging out with each other for fucking ages. That ain't Gregg. What do you think Gregg's doing to make the culture so fucking great? Like he's playing ping pong with them? Is that what's doing it? Is he juggling each of their testicles at night? I don't think so. I think these guys love each other. And it would be, I don't care if fucking Popeye was the captain or the fucking manager of this team. This team would get along. Minus Brooks.
Hey, you know what? It might actually be better without Berhalter. I hate the fact that I'm already.
Yeah, you're not supposed to be
here.
doing this.
We're not to that point yet, so I can still talk trash here. But I don't know. It just feels like there's always like some tension always around Berhalter with some players. Now, of course, players will come out and say like, "Nah, there's no problem. I love Berhalter. He's great."
Yeah.
But,
well, I'm sure that he's. I'm sure he's fine.
Man, I gotta tell you, man, on those behind the goal or behind the crest videos, it definitely looks like Berhalter is pretty tight with all of his players and everything. But there's always some butting of heads in those videos. Yes.
Nah, in the videos I watch, all it is him standing up in front of them going, "This is the blah, 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 blah. Here's the fucking thing behind me. You see this thing? It's called a presentation. Here's what we're going to do. Remember my bad World Cup? Between the Tour World Cups.
But I had a good World Cup too, and I don't talk about that bad one.
I never talk about the bad one. Let's not have a bad one. What the fuck kind of shit is that's what you're talking about? Building a bond?
No, there are other videos where he's with the players and they're generally speaking, having a good time.
You know what they're doing? They're having a good time after they're alone and no one else is around, making fun of Gregg Berhalter.
They're having a good time in the same sense, like we're having a good time in the porn shop in our video, right? And Berhalter keeps sneaking by. Same thing. Right. Berhalter's always in the background creeping.
We have a better time with him not in the conversation, though. And so I think the same is here. I think that we've already heard that they're up to 8 players now who have said less than positive things about Gregg as if he were to be the manager going forward, that he's not prepared. No fucking Fuego says, no fuego, like fuego.
Yeah, en fuego. It's en fuego.
Like fuego, he says.
Yeah, yeah, no fuego, but it's en fuego.
Oh, en fuego.
Yeah.
En fuego. Yeah, he's in fuego.
There you go. Now, the more you know.
He's fucking doing something very good in fuego. All right. I know.
All right, Derek.
Little Spanish.
The silly season's upon us. Transfer rumors are a must. We got them. They're here. We're going to talk about them.
Do we have to?
We do. Look at this. Right here. Bam. Here's some Weston McKinney rumors.
Juventus want at least 25 to 30 million for U.S. men's national team international. Weston McKinney, but a sale for 11.5 in January would be enough to avoid a capital loss, according to reports in Italy. What is this guy, just good at math? No shit. That's what the number is, to avoid a capital loss. Like, that just takes out breaking out, not even a fucking calculator, but just like an abacus. Fucking abacus.
You take the amount of money they spent, you divide it across the 4 or 5 year contract they signed. Of course, at this point, a capital loss would be anything less than 11.5. Yeah. No.
The geniuses providing these rumors for us on Twitter are astounding in their math capabilities. Otherwise, yes, of course, Juventus want to make a profit off of him. No one's buying McKinney for $30 million right now. Not in the current state of affairs.
You don't know that, Derek, because apparently.
Come on, dude. Did you just see what Gakpo signed for? What are we?
I'm joking, man. He's not going to get that much
money. I know, but what are we at? 2004 prices now? That's all it took to sign him? That's crazy. Wes McKennie is among targets. Oh, God. For Tottenham in the January transfer window. McKennie is admired by Tottenham's managing director, Fabio Paratici, and who impressed in Qatar. Paratici impressed in Qatar? Good for him.
Yeah, that's a really weird way of wording. I think he means that obviously Wesson impressed in Qatar.
There's a technical term for a poor sentence like this in English where you lead the audience into being confused about whom of which the two people you are speaking of you're actually identifying in the last statement. Anyhow, it's an English thing, and I can't remember the word, but it does exist, and he just did it here.
It is a royal fuck-up. Let's make up a name for it. Come on.
I don't think that's in the booklet. But anyhow, yeah.
They don't teach that in English class. Kids, I want you to go to page 64 and recite what the definition of a royal fuck-up is.
Nope, that doesn't happen. I'm pretty sure. I don't remember that. This whole thing is getting silly here with the Tottenham thing. Either
shit or get off the fucking pot.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. And stop putting out fucking the same shit all the time. Everybody knows this already. You've already said it 1,000 times. We all know that Tottenham has their nose up McKennie's ass, supposedly. I don't think they do. I frankly don't think they do. I do not believe this. I do not believe he's moving anywhere in January. And if he does, it ain't going to be to Tottenham. Yeah. All right. So there's my prediction. I will eat crow if I'm wrong. I'm just sick of all this. This is just like, okay, really? We're going to go from Juventus to Tottenham. Really? Where's he going to play exactly? Who's getting benched?
In the midfield?
I know, but who's getting benched on Tottenham? So he can play.
You know what? McKinney, just like Bradley, goes to clubs and fights and gets a starting spot. I mean, who would have thought that McKinney would have gone from Schalke to Juventus as a consistent starter at Juventus? No, I mean, this isn't the Juventus of old, but still.
I'm just not seeing the glaring need at Tottenham for this, although, I don't see they're not exactly, on fire either. So maybe they're looking for a little boost. I'm not saying it's impossible that McKennie will move. I'm just saying it seems really unlikely. And do we have to keep talking about it?
Of course. It's the silly season, Derek. We talk about all the news.
And I'm so glad that Fabio Paratici impressed in Qatar. I am really. I don't know how he impressed.
Does it take two C's to turn it into a ch sound?
It could, but yes, usually. You mean if it were two C's, there would be Paratici.
Okay, thank you. Okay, look at me, I'm learning, guys.
You're learning.
I'm learning. Hoorah! All right,
little Italian.
Well, we talk about Weston going to Tottenham every week, so let's move on from this. Let's not spend too much time. We got a lot of things to cover.
What do you mean? We've already spent too much time on it.
We'll talk about this next week as well, because I'm sure there'll be another rumor coming out. So let's just move on to the next guy.
Okay. Yunus Musa to Inter Milan talks are reportedly picking up. That's believable. Valencia and Inter are continuing negotiations, and the deal could happen when Gagliardini is sold by Inter. Gagliardini. Yes. Okay.
Gagliardini.
I mean, it's not as funny as Balzaretti, but it's getting there with the Garg part. He's gargling a Dini. All right.
There we go.
C before an I in Italian is pronounced ch. A C before an
CI.
I.
So a name with a CI would be a ch sound.
No, it wouldn't.
Well, are you calling BMR a liar?
No, because it's not always true. That's all I'm saying.
Is that equivalent to the I before E except after C? But sometimes E does go before I.
No, but he's right in a certain sense. It is Tici. Yeah, I agree with him, but it's not always that way. I've actually, well, maybe the Italians I've run into are Americanized, so they just pronounced it different.
Like Pulisic.
So yeah, that's probably what happened. I knew a lot of Italians when I was young, and yeah, the ones with the ICIs instead of the double C's, they just Americanized it, I guess. Yeah, I didn't think about that. I guess they did. All right, so you guys are probably right. I need to get out of my own experience, I guess.
Yeah, you're stuck here in middle America, bumfuck Egypt, Indiana. Come on.
Well, I lived for 4.5 years in New York, so I, probably got corrupted there.
Yeah.
All right, where are we?
The Italians in New York. No.
Yes. Well, they were
3rd, 4th, 5th generation Italians.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and a lot of them had changed the way they said their names. So
yeah.
But if, for instance, if my name was RICCI, that would be Ricci, right? If it was RICI, which I don't believe exists, it'd be Ricci in Italian. But that's just.
Thank goodness you got a CH. It's not a question.
Yeah, I got a CH, so it's all right. It's
easy.
very, very simple. The arguments go on about where it came from. Sources: Ronankrat to Werder is a done deal. It is an initial loan with an obligation to buy after a certain amount of appearances. The Canadian men's national team and U.S. men's national team eligible talent will arrive in Germany January 2nd and start January 4th. All right. This is great. This is a great deal for the Canadian Premier League side, York United.
So apparently a Canadian U.S. national is on his way to Werder.
How old is Ronan Krot?
Good question. Don't know. I'd have to pull it up and take a look, but I'm not sure.
I don't want to ruin the already distant personal relationship I have with Manuel, but who cares? I don't care. I'm sorry. How old is this guy that's playing in the fucking Canadian Premier League? How old is Krot?
You're gonna make me take a look, aren't you? While I'm looking, deal with that.
All right. In Fuego, I heard Aaron Long being monitored. Don't use the word monitored by Chelsea. Monitored. I know. Thank you. In Fuego.
He's 19, by the way.
This is driving me. Then he's not that great. If he's 19 and he's playing the Canadian Premier League, either the scouts are morons, or this guy somehow slipped through the cracks.
It's possible maybe he's following suit with Jonathan Gomez and Kobe, what's his face, that's in France right now.
Oh, you mean guys that don't want to
playing for the non-MLS side so that he can immediately get to jump over when he gets scouted.
When he's 19, most of those guys do that earlier if they have a fucking passport.
They can't. That's the thing, though. I mean,
no.
He's U.S. Canadian, so I mean, clearly he doesn't have access. I mean,
no. Hold on. Roland Krot could have a fucking passport with that name. Number two, he's 19. He's fucking 19. He's not 18. Sargent moved to Werder Bremen the day he fucking turned 18. The fucking day he was in Germany starting. So where's this guy? Someone tell me about how great this guy is.
I don't know who the fuck he is. I've never seen it. This is just one reason I brought this up is because it's an American and Canadian national that's moving to Germany. Suck a dick.
Oh, well.
Jesus Christ. This wasn't supposed to be a gotcha or fuck this guy. Fuck him. Who the fuck is he?
I'm not sucking a dick, though.
Well, on the brighter side of news for U.S. national team players.
Okay.
Austin Trusty has played every minute of every game so far this season.
I think that's nice. That's nice, but he always hasn't played great. So that's what's more important. Just because you can do something the whole time doesn't make it a good thing, right?
He's doing pretty damn good for Birmingham right now. And I understand It's a lower championship team and all on his loan, but
Listen. All right. Listen. We've all had those kind of awkward girlfriends who were not good giving the head. All right. They could do it for 2 hours straight. That doesn't make it great. Okay. I'd rather have a good 10-minute one and it be over with than 2 hours of cocksucking that leads to nothing. See what I'm saying?
no.
Just because you played every minute or you did it for fucking 2 hours doesn't make it good. All right. Okay. There we go.
Derek, who pissed in your cereal today?
Nobody did. I'm
Who
just
pissed in your
saying.
cereal?
So what?
The kid made a move from MLS to Arsenal, got loaned out to Birmingham, has played every single minute for Birmingham.
Yeah, but
That's good news.
not all of the minutes have been great. There's not been
Nobody said he was
exceptional.
perfect, Derek.
I'm just saying this is a silly thing. If he wanted to brag, he'd say he played every minute.
This is Birmingham. This is Birmingham saying, "Hey, hello,
No,
look,
but-
Austin Trusty has played every minute. This is great news for him."
No. What he should have said was he played every
Nobody
minute.
said anything.
No, just hold on.
The club did.
He did. These Birmingham, the club did. If you want to brag, don't say he played every minute. Then after saying that, you need to put a comma and
Has
say,
given us a rock hard stiffy. Is that what you want to say?
no. And he leads the league in takeaways. He leads the league in clearances, or he leads the league in whatever he leads the league in. That's what needs to go there, because him playing every minute doesn't mean dick to me.
Maybe he's second in all those categories, Derek. Now, would it be cool to say, and he's second? No, that's only if he's a leader.
No, you could do second.
He's still getting playing time. This is the key. This is the factor. This is the good news. He's like, hey, here's a guy who just came to our club. He's played every minute of every game.
Is it a key?
It is a key.
No,
Yes.
because he's still behind Eric Palmer Brown. He's still behind
we
EPB.
were sitting here all the last year and a half. Last year and a half, saying that Sargent should have been called in over insert random striker here because he's playing in the EPL. He's not scoring goals. But we were saying like he should have been called in for a lot of those windows.
Yeah, but we
For
got
the exact same reason we're talking about just here.
dude, I get it, but we got other players playing, multiple center backs playing all over the place right now, including other ones in the
It's
championship.
fine. This is a club saying, hey, here's a young kid who came to our club, got every single minute.
This is what I'm saying. I don't care.
And that's what we've been saying about Sargent all last year, too.
I don't care. I'm invested in Sargent. I'm sorry. I'm not invested in Austin Trusty. No, I don't. Are you accusing me of having a bad period of the month? I'm still having a good time. Is that what they're saying with that accusation?
Only Jose, really, at this point.
Yeah.
It's like, what climbed up Derek's ass?
You could say that every show.
Derek's being a bit of a cunt.
No, I'm not. I might be. I
There
might
you go,
be.
Derek. Does this make you happy? He's third in clearances.
They should have said it. They should have said that. They should have put that in there because I really don't care about the minutes part. I don't care. I really don't. Fucking Ethan Horvath's played every minute since he got to Luton. What's important about that is not that he's played every minute since he's got to Luton, that he's playing extremely well. That's what counts. I just watched him play when I got home from work today. Yeah, I watched a game for a goalie. Can you believe that? But he played extremely well versus QPR. I was extremely impressed.
Well, yeah, if you want to take context, go back through all of our history of talking about Austin Trusty, and there's been plenty of evidence that he's been doing really well for Birmingham.
No, he's had some really great games. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying he's got a lot of competition. So there you go. Home scores for Huddersfield. That's a good point, Tom.
Hey, good for Holmes,
and you know what? Holmes doesn't only start for Huddersfield, so the fact that he gets some results might say something. But then again, we all know that he pissed Gregg off, so we never really had a
such
chance.
a shame because the few games that he did play for us, I really enjoyed.
You don't yap back at Gregg.
Greg
Greg
unless you want
like
to wear a shirt showing that he's He's a boss. Or
Oh yeah, I think Matthew Hoppe it was made very clear to him he needed to fucking roll over,
suck some dick,
and coddle some balls and get a T-shirt made immediately for the press. All right, it was the 7th straight Twente U18 match missed by Netherlands USA U16 midfielder Benjamin Nagel. Unknown what type of injury he has, but it seems to be not insignificant. He had started all league matches that he was in the squad, playing up with 0506s as an 07.
Well, fear not, Derek, because there is an update to this.
Okay.
So this confirms that Nagel's accepted the U16 call-up, also published by Twente's website, but simply missed due to an injury. So he still is he's accepting U.S. call-up, so that's always good.
You know, remember when I used to do the Yanks Abroad report, and I'd report all of the U18 and U19 little critters crawling all over Europe? Yeah, we should continue to monitor them. All of us should continue to monitor them and be interested in them. But let's just keep in mind that such a small percentage of them are going to amount to a hill of beans.
Fair enough. True.
A kid
100%. I'm not going to disagree with you on that.
He's not playing at Ajax. He's not playing with U18s at PSV. He's playing at the Twentes U18s.
As an 07, he's a 16-year-old playing for the U18s. And he's been playing consistently. So, I mean, that's a promising sign. But
okay, well, he's playing.
I accept your criticism here in the fact that we always have these youth players who are at insert random European club here that don't amount to anything. 100% agree.
What age was Scally when he started for Mönchengladbach? 18.
18.
Right?
Sure.
Right. Now you could argue, well, Joe Scally never got to play for Man. New York.
Understandable mistake there.
Yeah. NYCFC. Well, maybe that's on NYCFC.
Mm-hmm.
Really.
Are you saying that MLS club didn't evaluate talent properly?
What year? Yeah. What year did Reyna get his first start?
17, probably.
Yeah,
that's my guess.
So if you're 16 and you're still playing the U18s at Twente, come on, you're not going to make this U.S. national team unless something amazingly happens, like flowers sprout out of your fucking rectum. There's no way.
We just had a World Cup roster that included Shaq Moore and Christian Roldan.
Yeah, but Greg's the coach, and Greg's not going to be the coach.
But that's kind of the point, though. Let's just say this kid does come out. I don't even know what position he fucking plays. Let's say he does come out, and all of a sudden he's starting for 20 in 2 years.
No,
I'm just saying.
He's not going to.
Hypothetically speaking.
Okay.
Then all of a sudden you have a different question. You have something else to bring up here. Here's a player that's playing, and we're talking about bringing up Pepe even because he's balling at a mid lower table team in the same league.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, let's just say he does start at that point. Then yes, he's in contention
for 20.
Sure.
Any scoring goals?
I don't know what fucking position he plays. He could be a right back for all I know.
Yeah, he could play the turd burglar position for all we know. I don't know.
That's the point. Again, just a nice bit of news saying that here's another dual nab that's currently representing the U.S. and he's playing up.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm not saying let's make an entire video about him or anything like that.
I had a long day today. All right.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to be Mr. Positivity today. All right.
No. Yeah.
All right.
Can you read this, by the way?
No, it's too small.
All right, let me hold on.
Okay, it's getting a little better.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
All right, Herc's 2026 goalkeeper and defender depth chart. Well, it looks like the whole team's on there, not just the defenders. Goalies: Matt Turner, Zach Steffen, Gabriel Slonina. Wow, I think it's still too early to be talking Slonina here.
If we're going to predict 2026, I mean, you have to pick a third goalkeeper. It's possible.
Dude, it's possible. But how many times have we seen young prospects and even goalkeepers go on to be garbage.
Oh,
Lose
sorry.
their-
Yes, a lot. I was going to
Lose
do a
their
little
confidence.
bit. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, I'm not disagreeing on this, but if you have to come up with a 2026 prediction, you're probably going to take a couple of promising young players and put them in your list.
I don't think so. I mean, you're going to if you're Herc.
All predictions turn out wrong. I mean, obviously the key players that were here in this last World Cup are probably going to be still contenders and players for the next World Cup.
I give Herc's picks here. I give the Slonina pick a 23% chance of being correct.
Very precise with the 23%.
Yes, I do. Because I think that's the actual chances Slonina has to come out of this as an exceptional player. And really, even Horvath, correct, Rogelio, is playing way better than fucking Zach Steffen in the fucking championship right now.
Yeah.
I don't know how you get rid of Horvath and keep Steffen.
Steffen based off of history, basically, at this point, I imagine.
I guess. Listen, you can't just go by history all the time.
Nope.
You know, traditionally for years, I was really good in the sack. I'd be a fucking piece of garbage right now. History means nothing. You can't just go on history. I'd fucking pass out now. Probably have a heart attack. All right. Left center back.
But, in all honesty, at that point, you died in a good way. I mean, there are worse ways to go. Ways to go.
Yeah, there are worse ways. Just ask President Roosevelt. All right, left center back. Miles Robinson and Austin Trusty. Okay, that's fine.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, that's giving the fact that Miles Robinson's injury wasn't as severe as it usually is with players that have that injury. It's a very devastating injury. Look at what a similar injury to Aaron Long did to him.
Let's quickly jump over to right center back because I want to talk about the center back position real quick. But go ahead and do the center back.
I think the right center backs make sense. Chris Richards.
Here's where I would change it. I mean, you have EPB again. I'm going to keep harping on EPB here. EPB starting and doing well in Ligue 1, and on the left center back, you have Austin Trusty, who we talked about earlier, doing well in championship. No hands, whatever. Miles Robinson, who just had a fucking ACL injury. Was it Achilles? Was it his ACL? Wasn't it?
I thought it was an Achilles.
Was it Achilles?
Yeah.
Anyway, Miles Robinson, who's done well for the U.S. team, but then again, he plays for Atlanta, and EPB plays consistently and does well enough at Troyes.
Yeah.
So I would move Richards. If I had to do a prediction here, I would move Miles off. I would move Richards to left center back and then put EPB at right center back.
Listen, the whole left center back for Herc here is fucking basically a flyer. This is a guess in the dark. Like, I agree with you completely. Miles Robinson is an Achilles. It's okay. It wasn't Achilles. That's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Listen, that's a serious fucking injury. Let's see if he can come back from that. He still plays in MLS. If he's that fucking great, why is he still there? And Austin Trusty, I mean, we just talked about him. We got other guys out there, EPB being one of them. Richards, we talked about already. Cameron Carter-Vickers. There are other guys that are going to go. Who's to say Zimmerman's off the fucking,
Ream could still be there. Who knows? Walker.
I wouldn't mind if he can stay in shape, frankly. But he's going to have to be as fit now as he then as he is now.
Yeah.
So
Mark McKenzie, who's still playing in Europe.
Exactly. Another great one. That's another great example. Mm-hmm. Listen, Miles Robinson's a long way from being back on this national team. For me, I just think that injury, you're going to have to watch it and see how he comes back.
And this isn't really anything to take away from Miles by any means, but I mean, he came in the Gold Cup, got his first start, wowed Berhalter, and then everything else is history at that point.
Yep.
And he was a consistent player because even though he made mistakes, he could still be fast enough to catch up. Now you have these injuries. We talk about these injuries all the time, and it's going to take a step out.
Yep.
And if you take away Miles' his recovery ability, will he still be there? Is the question.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it will at that point. If he doesn't regain the same pace that he had, I don't see it happening.
Right. At left back, he's got Anthony Robinson. Slow clap, obvious pick.
Sure.
Jonathan Gomez? Are we serious yet about Jonathan Gomez? This is another one where you're just throwing out fairy dust because we don't know if Jonathan Gomez is going to amount to a hill of beans. I mean, he's in Spain. He's playing for the 2 team, kind of. All right. I just, how old is Jonathan Gomez now? 19? 20?
Yeah, 19. Yeah, because he moved over at the age of 18.
All right. I just think by 19, you should, I don't know, at least have a seat on the bench for the big boy team.
Sure.
I think,
this is one of those things like you're looking at this player. You've heard a lot of hype. You may have even seen a handful of matches.
Too much hype. Too much hype.
A lot of hype. But, we'll see what happens on the U20 World Cup this summer because he's going to be included on that. Obviously, he'll have the U23s at the Olympics the following summer as well. He'll get time and exposure, but he needs to start capitalizing his chances at the club level. The Jonathan Gomez is simply a prayer and a hope that he pans out.
Yeah.
But to your point, you brought this up many times. We've had so many young players that have promise. They've done good at these youth levels, and they don't amount to anything.
I've heard so much hype in my day. You know what hype amounts to me as? A little fucking tiniest pebblet of shit that I can roll around in my fingers and flick off. A booger. That's how much hype I suck up. Like hype, it's nothing to me. It's tiny boogers. That's what hype is. And I want to see it happen. When I see a player like Joe Scally go to Mönchengladbach at 18 and immediately start and hold that position for the most part of a year and a half, that is proving it. Don't tell me that you're 19 years old now, you're Jonathan Gomez, and you can't even make the big boy bench. Don't even tell me that this guy is so fucking spectacular. I need to start sprouting fucking flowers out of my ass because it ain't happening. Wesley Nickens, Caleb Wiley, or Tolkien?
Who's the New England kid that Colin Reese was big on the left side?
I have no clue. I have no clue.
Is it
Dwan Jones? That's New England. That's New England.
That's what I said. I said New England.
I thought you. Sorry, I thought I heard something else. All right. Yeah, it's Dwan Jones. Yeah, Dwan Jones is done. He's done. He's not going to ever make a national team.
Fair enough.
I mean, he could play a qualifier in a backup,
the
Gold Cup, but he ain't making a World Cup team. No.
I do. We're almost an hour into this. We haven't even touched the main topic, so let's hammer through these real quick. I got a couple things just to go over, and then we'll go from there. Your
idea of hammering is light strokes. I'll talk to I'll talk to Evie about it. Yeah,
she's a happy lady.
Well, every once in a while, I'm sure she wants a hammering. Anyhow, tip of the hat to you. All right, where are we? Defensive center midfielder. I'm not even going to do the right backs.
Let's just go quick. Yeah, the right back was fine. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have any problem with Tyler Adams and Johnny Cardoso, except that I'm not really 100% sold that Johnny Cardoso is a 6. I'm not
his
sold
career
on
with the
that.
national team, with the U.S. national team at all levels, has been kind of a mix between a 6 and an 8.
Yeah. I'm not sold on him as a 6. Not a destroyer 6 like Tyler Adams is.
What about a double pivot?
If you played a double pivot, I'm buying it more. Because then it's more like Adams and Roca, right? Cardoso is going to be a little bit more artistic and can cut through lines better than Tyler. Though Tyler has really improved in that. Right center midfield, Musa Mihailovic. Yeah, let's see how Mihailovic does in the Netherlands. We'll see.
We know what he can do. Let's see what he can do at higher level.
My money would be on a guy like Mihailovic. He's proven it to me more than a guy like Jogo. I can tell you that much.
Mm-hmm.
Christian Pulisic and Brendan Aronson, his left winger's fine. McKennie Tillman Yeah, I can see that possibly.
Tillman's
Right
been
winger.
doing well. I'd like to see what he can do at a higher level than SPL.
Yeah, Timmy Weah and Brena out and right.
This is again assuming the 4-3-3 continues. I'm assuming.
Yeah, and I don't think we can assume that unless the guy that they're hiring to be the manager is another fucking USSF cocksucker. And if that's the case, he's going to have to suck Ernie's cock, then agree to play the same fucking style and system as Gregg. Let's see. Striker, Pepe, Sargent, and Wright. Hey, I would have liked to have seen that in the fucking World Cup.
But it'll be interesting. Obviously, you can't take into contention Balogun, who's talked about over here, and then until he commits.
Yeah, so it could be Pepe, Sargent, Balogun. I think Wright's got an uphill battle going forward on his hands.
Yeah.
So,
although I recently saw that Wright is getting some Serie A and Bundesliga interest, and I didn't pull it up because I don't know if I liked it or not, so I didn't see it.
No, they're going to be interested in Balogun.
No, not Balogun, right?
Oh, right. Yes. That I don't know why they're thinking that. I mean, he scores in Turkey. That's fine. Mm-hmm. We'll see. I don't know. Anytime. Well, he hasn't really had a shot since he was in Germany, right? With Schalke. So we'll see. Maybe he's ready for a move up now. I don't know.
PFOC will be like, what, 31 at that time? It's possible, I guess, but who knows?
He needs to get hot again. He really does. DK has played well in the championship. I wouldn't count him out. I certainly wouldn't count him out. Paredes as a winger. Maybe
some Bundesliga minutes.
Maybe. Let's see how he progresses. But
what about that backup left back position? I mean, he's proven more at left back than Jogo has at this point.
Yeah, but he doesn't really. He plays more of a left wing back position.
Oh, I don't discredit that by any means. I'm just saying
he's more of an attacking player. In a back three, he's one of the attacking wide players. So we'll see.
The same could be made about Dest and Robinson at that point.
Not really.
I mean, they're not 1v1 left back and right backs. I mean, they're more getting into the attack.
Robinson plays in a 4. And he's played in a 4 for
He has played in a 4, and he definitely could play in a 4. I'm just saying they're much more offensive-minded players.
Dest has played more right midfield sometimes than he plays right back. That's true. Yeah. But that's, I think, because of his defensive deficiencies, which I think he is minimalizing now. I think he's getting better at that. So I think he can play a right back. How would improve? What? How would improve?
How would you improve? He probably ran out of characters.
Well, then I wouldn't take it out there. How would improve? What a stupid sounding sentence. Not that we haven't all written something stupid, but really, how would improve soccer? Examples. How would improve soccer? Make goals bigger, stupid. 2 points for goals outside the penalty box, stupid. 35-year-old. What is this? Why didn't he
finish reading it and really think about what you're reading? Okay. He
can't possibly believe this. 35-year.
Derek, I'll let you know a secret here. This is a troll.
Oh, okay.
But
35-yard shootout instead of PKs. Kick-in option on throw-in. Hockey penalty box for player punishment. Offside only applies the last 35 yards. Handball. Simply any contact with the hand arm. All right. This is a joke, obviously, because there's no way anyone could be this dumb.
Well, so Lawless has been on a trolling fest, if you will. At least yesterday.
Okay.
Posting a lot of stuff, and people have been hounding on him like, "Hey, U.S. is not improving the game, blah blah blah, et cetera, et cetera." And it's like, yeah, there's plenty of ways the U.S. has improved the game. Here are some examples. And now, if you look at this, bigger goals, 2 points for goals outside the penalty area, 35-yard PKs.
Yeah.
Blah, blah. This is 100% a description of indoor soccer.
Okay.
So he's absolutely trolling. And you'd be surprised how many people thought this was like a legit post.
No, it's not, because the goals aren't bigger.
No, I'll agree with you on that.
And by the way, that missing letter U up in the upper part, he could have taken out the dash between 2 and points and easily fit that fucking U in there. Yes.
Or help just leave the penalty box quotes out.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, he's trolling, I guess. I don't know how many people actually believe any of this jackassery. I don't hear anybody say any of this crap.
No. He gets a bunch of garbage, and from time to time he'll go off on a what sounds like a legitimate Twitter post spree, but it's literally just a giant troll.
Dude, all of these things were things that were recommended to MLS in their early years and NASL in their later years.
Not the 2 point outside the penalty, I don't think. At least the 35-yard PK.
No, that was discussed in NASL as well.
Thank God that didn't.
Okay, so listen, these were all the dumb ideas that people threw out in the 80s and the 90s. I mean, bringing them back up again like they're new, like that's an insult to fans who watch the game now. Like, that's how we think? Nobody thinks like that. That's a stupid post. Fuck that post. It's a stupid fucking post. Even if it's a troll post, it's dumb. Fuck Lawless on that post. What an asswipe. It doesn't even make any sense. Most of the people reading his Twitter or his tweet didn't live in the 80s and 90s when these ideas were first thrown out, because nobody's made those kind of recommendations in the 2000s and beyond. No one has. Absolutely zero. Nobody has made those recommendations except some jackasses on ESPN who don't watch soccer. That doesn't count. So fuck this. That's a fucking stupid tweet.
BMR says, luck flawless.
Yeah, fuck Lawless. All right, did Tyler just leak the U.S. men's national team is playing at the Copa America?
So did you hear about this? Did you see this interview?
Well, if he said we're going to have the opportunity to play in Copa America, but it's already been sort of leaked before this, that was what we're going to have to do to prepare for the World Cup, because we're not going to get to play a lot of good teams leading up to the World Cup. We're going to have to play Copa America. That's the only chance we have with all the Nations League jackassery, half bullshit fucking games that FIFA does to fucking all get all their money in, roll the money. Fuck FIFA. So anyhow, that's where we're gonna have to play this tournament. We're gonna have to.
It's definitely one of the worst kept secrets out there.
It's not even a secret.
It's not even a secret. Yeah, they basically have talked about
we're hosting
Canada.
It too.
Canada and United States have been included, I believe. I don't think Mexico has been announced. Well, announced or leaked.
No, we're hosting it.
Yeah,
and there are going to be a lot more than 3 CONCACAF teams in it. There are going to be 6, as far as I understand. Maybe 5, but 6 is probably about where it's going to drop. But yeah,
they definitely talked about more. Yeah, they definitely talked about more CONCACAF teams being included. So, but yeah, no, I brought that up.
So this isn't a leak. It's just like he's understanding what we're all understanding. Juan,
I think so.
I mean, Jesus, we got Colombia and what was the other country already backed out of hosting it. So who else are you going to give it to? Us, because you know what happens when you host it here? Money.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of money.
That's what anywhere those games are going to be held, they're going to be sold out stadiums.
Packed.
It is going to be ridiculous. Yep. All right. Last topic, and then we get on to the main topic here. But did you hear, Derek?
We've kind of already talked about the main topic so much tonight.
Kind of, yeah. But we'll definitely have its own section here because that's the whole point of it. Russia considering UEFA exit and moving to Asia.
How's that going to help them?
Well, Russia is considering it because UEFA has basically kicked them out of all the important
in that sense, it'll help them. Yeah,
so they're like, we lost out in the Champions League. We're supposed to host that, and we invaded Ukraine, and now they're not letting us host it. I don't know why.
Oh, excuse me. Where does the power in AFC lie? It doesn't lie with China. No. It lies more with Australia, Japan, Korea, Saudi Arabia. None of those countries want fucking Russia and AFC in the. Did you say AFC or are we talking about Asian Federation?
AFC.
Okay.
Asian, yeah.
Yeah. Nobody there wants them either.
They're going to go there. They're going to lose out on all the UEFA competitions. They're going to lose out on the.
No, they're not going there. They're not going there.
Well, they're holding conversations.
Well, good luck.
with
They're not going to
themselves.
go there. There's no way the Asian Football Confederation's going to have them. No.
I mean, and UEFA kicked them out of the playoff for the World Cup. I mean, come on, that's just rude. That's just rude, Derek.
They're not going to get any better treatment from the AFC. I don't care how much fucking influence China has over it.
I'm sure there's some money that they could flood into the AFC to get the approval to accept them. I'm sure they could say, hey, you want some pockets lined? Here you go. Here you go. Here you go.
Listen, I'm not getting into the politics of the Ukraine invasion or whatever you want to call that. I'm just saying that people in Australia, Japan, Korea, not North Korea, Korea, and a lot of other countries in Asia they're not that fucking, happy about it either. I don't know why this is going to work. It's not going to.
I'm sure you just have to focus on the other countries, the non-contending countries, and line some of their pockets, make them vote a yes.
Vietnam,
all those, 100%.
Thailand, Laos, Bangladesh, India, Indonesia, Malaysia.
Adam brings up a great point here. FIFA banned them for the World Cup itself. FIFA and UEFA joined suit to say, hey, you're out of the playoff role. You're not joining this one. So how does that really help them in that situation?
Who wrote this article? Scroll up.
Mark Ogden.
All right. I'm not going to say anything offensive. I just think this article is absurd. Okay. That's it.
He's reporting on the facts in the sense that, yes, Russia is holding a sit-in to say, hey, should we do this? And UEFA's probably on the outside going,
good luck. And you know what most people in the AFC are saying? Yeah, we'll talk, but dude, you better bring fireworks.
You know all the other countries that are in the Champions League in Europa and stuff like that are going like, yes, we get there's more spots open now. We can have possibly more teams contending.
Yeah, but the teams in
the
teams in the AFC that you did mention that are less than Korea, Australia, Japan, Saudi Arabia, they're all going, fuck no. I don't want fucking Russia in our group. Makes it a lot harder for us, even though there are going to be 48 teams in the next World Cup.
Saudi Arabia versus Russia, an oil classico.
The oil classico. Well done, Jasper. All right. Main topic.
Yeah, let's get to that.
And after we're done with this, you better not pop some more tweets on me.
I got tons of tweets.
No.
I got a couple tweets.
Okay. All right. Because goddamn it, the show's going on forever. Especially when most people are on vacation right now. So why are we doing this?
We currently have 114 people listening to us right now. So
all right,
we're doing something right. We're doing something right.
We're doing something right. Hey, that's nice to know other people haven't, already started their vacation like full force yet.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are going to make a defense for Berhalter on why he should stay, which is ridiculous because, of course, you don't believe he should stay.
I drew the short straw in this situation.
I mean, I can flip it around if you want.
I've got my stupid talking points. Let's have this debate.
All right. So the judge goes, "Oh, I'll be the judge." See, blind.
Yeah.
Justice is blind. All right. The defense may start its first argument. Brett Corbett representing Gregg Berhalter. Begin.
Oof. God. Oof. We spent weeks and weeks and weeks trying to build a defense for why Gregg Berhalter should be brought back as the U.S. men's national team manager.
I bet you spent weeks.
And we couldn't come up with one. So the defense rests.
Man, that's horrible.
I kid.
You just threw Berhalter under the bus, which is what he likes to do to some players.
I would like to bring forth evidence A to the court.
Order the court.
Showing that Gregg Berhalter is the winningest, most bestest coach ever in U.S. men's national team history.
I object. Judge, I object.
Science.
I object. What is bestest? That is not an actual definable term.
I figured you'd bring this up. So Gregg Berhalter currently has a 71% win ratio right now. Bruce Arena has a 67. Klinsman has a 64. And Bob Bradley has a 61.
Judge, I have a response. All right, Derek, go ahead. All right, so my response is simply, yeah, because Greg only played jackass CONCACAF teams for most of his fucking
hearsay. That's
goddamn.
hearsay, right?
It's not hearsay. It's an actual fact. All right, and so you can't compare records.
It.
You can't compare records to records on that because Klinsman. Look at what Klinsman did. He went out, even though I don't even like Klinsman. Who likes Klinsman? Very few people. And the people that will all admit that at least he went out and we went to Europe and we played Holland and we played Germany. We played tough teams. And guess what? We won some of those games. So you can't compare Greg's slacker numbers.
MLS has spent decades developing the CONCACAF region as a whole. The CONCACAF region of today is not the CONCACAF region that Bruce Arena faced 2 decades ago.
Oh, it's so much worse than it was.
It is so much better. And you know what? Greg has a 116 goals scored this tenure.
It's not.
116 goals scored.
It's not better.
Only 37 allowed.
All right.
That's a 79 goal differential.
Have the smaller teams rose up like El Salvador? Have they benefited? Yes. Have other teams like Jamaica? Yes,
there are a number of Caribbean nations that have gone out and picked out third division English Premier teams. Not Premier teams, but third division League 1 and the League 1. Sorry, we're in England. League 1 players all the way down to League 9. Relevance. That means their talent has improved. Their stock has risen.
Here's where you need to look. Is MLS improving the Mexican national team? No.
No, that's because the Mexican team fails to call up any of the Mexican players from MLS.
Well, they called up a couple. I'm just saying, but we're not responsible for the Mexican national team getting better.
They didn't call in Cheech. They didn't call in Araujo. They didn't call in Ochoa. Ergo, they're going to fail.
So, yeah, right. So we are not responsible for the Mexican national team, which is our major competitor in our CONCACAF section. The main point is CONCACAF isn't really that much better. Everybody's gotten a little bit better in CONCACAF since MLS has improved. So I don't think that Greg can use that as any kind of buffer for the fact that his success is all against, for the most part, CONCACAF. And that's just a fact. So sorry, Greg. I don't think you can use that as defense.
We only beat Grenada 5-0. I mean, come on. In years past, that would have been like a 10-0 game. Easy.
Yes. Even 12 though. You're not helping your fucking
100% I am, yes.
You are not helping Greg.
Everything I was going to bring up about this about Greg's wins, his goals, his goals against are just going to be countered by the same argument that you're making.
Yes.
He's got the best average goals for about 1.96 goals per game.
He doesn't have shit to do with those.
He's only allowed 0.62 goals per game. So, I mean, that's good. That's good. That's better than all the other coaches I mentioned.
Can we take Bruce Arena's record, Bob Bradley's record, and Klinsman's records, and just have their records reflect how they played against CONCACAF teams?
I guess we can ask the clerk to do that later. I don't have it in front of me. I mean, it would take way too much time, and you're already bitching about how long this video's lasted. So.
And I don't even have the numbers in front of me, but I don't think they're going to be very drastically different.
It'd be an interesting thing to bring up.
Yeah, I'd like to see that comparison because I really don't think Greg's...
Well, in fair comparison there, we'd have to throw in a couple of European teams in there because Greg has played a few European sides.
Yeah,
like
very
Switzerland,
few.
He played North Ireland.
Oh, yeah, there's a good one. And we even didn't do that.
Played Qatar. I mean, it's not European, but...
Come on.
Just throw a sprinkle. I mean, you had Klinsman who beat Italy in Italy.
Klinsman took the team on a tour of Europe. Let's be honest. That's what he did.
Yeah. I mean, this is the argument that people make, and I knew it was going to get squashed. Oh,
Yeah.
They played Wales too. Played Wales too. There we go. Yeah.
No.
Thank you, BMR. Appreciate that.
Yep.
Okay,
But it's not.
Let's
you
move on to
could
the
ar-
record. The
you
record's
could-
obviously squashed
hold on.
because we never played any of the European sides.
You could argue
Or
that's
South
not.
American or
You
anybody
could
else.
argue that that's not Gregg's fault.
Well, no, it isn't Greg's fault. You're right, 100%.
Yep.
I blame Nations League personally,
I
but it is
FIFA.
what it is. The stats are what they
I
are.
blame FIFA and
Berhalter is
CONCACAF.
the most winningest, bestest manager out there.
Okay.
So
What's another reason that Gregg should stay?
Berhalter was the first American manager, U.S. men's national team manager, to ever win a Nations League. Mic drop. Neutron bomb.
It's the dumbest argument I've ever heard.
Can you deny it? Are you calling it out as false?
It was the first Nations League.
Yeah, he won. He was only American coach.
I don't
win
think
Nations League.
Bruce and Jurgen got a chance to win any of those. So
They
all right,
clearly
next.
fail hardcore. Their win ratios are significantly less than Berhalter's.
Do you actually have any real arguments, or are you just?
So these are the arguments. All right, these are the arguments that everybody brings up. So yes, I'm going to bring these up. You're going to have to suffer through them.
Somebody made that argument.
Yes, not the only manager to win Nations League, but he won Nations League is what the argument always is.
Who cares?
He won Nations League. He won Gold Cup. He beat Mexico 3 out of 4 times in competitive matches. Qualified for the World Cup, got out of the group. You know all the.
I know.
there.
This ain't the old Mexico. This ain't your grandfather's Mexico. This
Oh,
Mexico.
that's not Berhalter's fault though. Berhalter went out and beat Mexico.
I don't care. Just because they're called Mexico doesn't mean that they're a good team anymore. They're not. They're just not a good team. Even Mexican people say that. Not me. I mean, I'm not the only one saying they're garbage. Mexican fans are saying their team is garbage and their manager's garbage.
Derek, you're just an MLS hater. Seriously. And you hate Berhalter, so every time an argument comes up, you just come up with a straw man argument against it.
How the hell does Berhalter?
These are all facts, Derek.
How the hell
Nations League winner, Gold Cup winner,
how
World
the
Cup
hell does
qualifier.
Berhalter represent MLS? He played abroad his whole career except for the very end.
Has nothing to do with Berhalter. You're just an MLS hater.
I'm not an MLS hater. Nope.
Uh,
All right. You don't have any better arguments?
there are no arguments. These are all the arguments, Derek.
What
And
about,
they can all be squashed. You know this.
what about that he built a great locker room culture?
That can be squashed too.
Yeah, I
doesn't
said
happen
earlier.
You saw all the headbutting between Brooks. I mean, I'm sorry, Berhalter, you're fucked. You're not going to get brought back. Stop it. Just stop it. Move on with life.
Don't tell me he's a great locker room culture guy. Fuck that. That's bullshit. Because anybody who opposed him or said anything contrary to him or even was abrasive to him in any way, and I'm talking about Miazga, Hoppy, Brooks,
Hamid,
who's
we
Holmes,
talked about him earlier.
Holmes,
yeah,
Reyna. That's 6 fucking players, 3 of which could have contributed in this World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a guy. That's a guy who just wants conformity. Shut the fuck up and do what I say.
So basically, the gist of this whole argument is there is no argument. You can come up, you can say all the Michael Kammerman facts you want, but there's always an argument against it. The win ratio. Okay, yes, he has the highest win ratio, but that's because he's played nothing but minnows outside of the Mexicos and the Canadas.
How about that he created a new national team playing identity? Did he? I mean, he took it another level forward. I'll give him that. But in the end,
he brought in a system, but I don't think that's really benefiting him.
No,
the system sucks.
The system was bad. It's when he was forced to adapt and come up with something different as a game plan that he did a little bit. Okay, so we've reported this so many multiple times here on the show, but I'm going to do it one last
It's been like
time.
2 or 3 years since Holmes got brought up like this. So
yeah. So when Holmes was on the national team, there is multiple reporters who have told us, we believe them, but one in particular we really believe, who actually I think came on our show and said this. I believe that did not Brian come on the show and actually report this live?
It's possible.
Or not
can't
live
recall.
recorded, but
No,
but anyhow, Holmes and Berhalter during a training session had a bit of a butting of heads. Like Holmes said, "That's exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do what you're telling me to do," and they didn't agree on his role. Of course, Holmes is sort of a more attacking midfielder. There you go. The usual problem. We don't play that position. And yeah, after that, Holmes never got a sniff ever again of playing the national team. That was a battle. And I used to know what the exact quotes of what they said to each other. It wasn't great. And it was in front of numerous reporters and caught. So he's out. But you know what? Holmes has had problems with a lot of his managers, so it doesn't surprise me, including Wayne Rooney.
I don't think Berhalter had an issue with Williamson, despite the fact that Williamson came out and said, Berhalter's system's so tough that it takes 3 windows for you to fully understand it.
Which isn't a lie necessarily either.
Williams suffered an injury that took him out 8 months.
Yeah.
So I think Berhalter liked Williamson. I mean, a lot of us liked Williamson.
Yeah, I wouldn't call Williamson's thing a rift. I would just say that one was more of Williamson getting an injury in the most inopportune time possible.
Horribly.
Only getting, sort of a half season in before Gregg had to make decisions about qualifying and other things. Mm-hmm. And by that time, you can't bring a brand new guy in. Well, you could have, but you would have to leave Roldan at home, or you would have to, one of his favorite ball snugglers. Jasper Redican says Scally said the same thing as Williamson. Yeah. Yep.
Unfortunately for Scally in that sense is that he just was not really called in at all. He had one window during qualifiers, and then he wasn't brought back in until the summer after qualifying.
I think the Dutch manager also said Berhalter has done something with the U.S. team that's not really possible with national teams. He's actually developed a system. He's basically said that's not really something you do as a national team coach. And he kind of chuckled about it. Yeah.
Well,
that is not something you should be doing as a national team coach.
The problem with my system is that you have no idea who's coming in through the woodwork. Yes, you may have your U20s and U17s playing the same system, but the players that come out may develop at a different role, a different playing style than my system works,
Yeah, what if your best player, your best center forward is like Mitrovic? Well, that's not going to work with Gregg's system. He'd be absolutely useless.
Well, I mean, that's what's happening with our best player right now. Reina doesn't fit his system.
Yeah. So actually, no center forward fits Gregg's system. Period. All right, we got
none that we found, at least.
Yeah. Keyboard Warrior. I think Gregg coming back would be great to remind the world we're bang average at soccer. Craig Clownholter says, my case for Berhalter to be sacked. Ladies and gentlemen, this man is a fraud. His system is highly flawed. Both true. He has lied to the American soccer fan base on countless occasions. Correct. We simply can't allow him to continue as manager. I don't think we have any say in it, but I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Defensive Berhalter. Well, has done okay in CONCACAF. Exactly. And people will say in recruiting dual nationals, but really, okay, Guest had been playing for the youth teams in the United States for how long? You're going to give that one to Gregg? Hold on.
Go ahead.
Musa came to one practice, and totally jived with the players on the team. The players on the team, not Gregg, the players on the team. He became best friends with a lot of those guys. They loved him. He loved them. That's the players, not Gregg.
The jiving of players happens at any national team player, any dual nat that's testing the waters. Like when Berhalter says, "Hey, you want to see what it is like playing for Mexico? Go ahead and go to that window. See if it fits your system. See if it fits you."
I like the philosophy.
We're still here, but I'm just saying that the player going to the camp is whether or not they jive is going to be the biggest determining factor. Unless you're from US and you're being called in from like Germany or Argentina. We talked about that last show with that one kid getting a call from the Argentinian U17s or U20s or whatever the fuck. But beside the point is that the jiving with the players is usually a key factor. Now, mind you, it's the coach that brings the player in or convinces the player to give it a chance. Berhalter has a nice system when it comes to dual nats, in my opinion, where he says, we're here, go test the waters, find out where you feel most comfortable. If it's with them, it's with them. If it's with us, it's with us. I like that. Personally, I think that's the best philosophy.
I think that's fine, but I think giving him all the credit for them making those players. Again, Des had been playing with all these other guys through his whole youth development in the United States. Is it really surprising he picked us? I didn't find that surprising.
No, I don't think so with Des.
Musa has absolutely zero chance at the time he chose us to play for the English national team.
I guess the same would be said about this guy right here.
No, Tillman has zero chance of playing for the German national team going forward. Zero. Maybe 0.0005 chance.
I brought David's comment up here because the one I want to bring up was Pepe. Pepe's like probably a legit pull for Berhalter in the sense.
Could be. I would say probably. I don't know if Pepe, again, looked at the possible options for himself going forward in Mexico and looked at the United States and says, listen, it's just better here. I've got more of an opportunity. I'm going to get more opportunities. So, again, a lot of things play into this. You can't just listen. Did Gregg do a bad job? Fuck no. He did what I would say to be a reasonable job about this. But I'm not giving him 100% credit for all of these recruits.
So I guess all that a coach can do at that point is simply, try to swoon the player a bit. Say, hey, we really like your style. We'd like you to come in here, give us a chance, and really just be kind of a people person on that front, So how much sway does a coach really have on a player making a decision? I think Klinsmann may have had more sway with Green than any player that I could think of. But I guess at that point, how many of the players of the dual nats that coaches recruit end up picking the U.S. because of the coach or because of the current situation, like whether or not they're actually going to get called in by Germany, or should they just choose the United States because it's going to be a guaranteed play at that point?
Yep.
You never really know that. But as far as the coach is concerned, all that they can do at that point is say the positive things.
Yes.
Hey, you did great this week. We'd love to have you in this camp this month. No, okay. Well, keep us in mind. I know you're not ready to make a decision yet. We're not here to force your hand. So,
again, it's much like culture. I mean, a lot of that comes down to the players too, not just Gregg. Yeah. Larry Parr says some characteristics I look for in a leader or coach is transparency, responsibility, flexibility, and creativity. GGG lacks all those. Well, yeah, in this day and age, it's hard to be a lot of those things all at the same time. Yeah. So there is a sort of juggling that has to be because there's some things you simply can't say. Hope Snarly Snatch, Desi, of course. Let's hope the Berhalter trial goes better than the OJ trial. Unfortunately, the jury is USSF. Yeah, exactly.
If the cleat don't fit, you must acquit.
Maybe. But, the thing is, Gregg can make it fit. So,
in there.
So we'll see. Jose, Your Honor, I would like to bring this picture as my first piece of evidence. Gregg can confirm this is Giovanni Alejandro Reina, the most talented player on the U.S. men's national team has ever developed. Can you confirm he got less minutes than Shaq Moore? That's all, Your Honor.
That's
good.
All.
That's a great.
You don't get brought back for that reason alone. I didn't even talk about the fact that I'm a one cycle
you are
fan here, fanatic. So
And I'm not even that radical, but I still agree. People of the jury, if you can direct yourself to this picture of Jesus Ferreira and his mother, Mrs. Ferreira, Jesus also played more minutes because of his skill set. Wow, his mom's pretty good looking. I mean, she's a larger,
Definitely aged well.
but she's very pretty. Yeah, she's thick, but pretty.
That's 2 C's, right?
What?
Nothing. All right.
Probably
Greg.
better I didn't hear that. Gregg Berhalter, since we are in a trial mood tonight, good luck finding a defense for Lawless making crackhead suggestions like this. Oh, Jesus.
We talked about that.
Yeah, we did. He's not really suggesting that. Those aren't suggestions that he agrees with. Those are suggestions people made in the 80s and the 90s about soccer that he is repeating because he's a Nimrod and he doesn't realize how outdated those are. There aren't yes, in the 80s and 90s, did I hear that a lot? Make the goals bigger. There's not enough goals in soccer. Yes, did I hear those in the 80s?
Football team rallying up in the back are like, soccer's for pussies. Make the goals bigger. You'll score more goals.
Yeah. I mean, get rid of offsides. I've heard all of those. Those were in the 80s. Those were in the 90s. Nobody said any of that jack shit in the last fucking 20 years. And fucking Lawless needs to stop poking the bear with outdated bullshit. That's outdated criticism of soccer. Jonathan Rupert, his lack of strategy and not using our better players because they don't fit his system. Yes, we talked about not playing a system where a center attacking midfielder would be relevant. A good manager evaluates his team to utilize the strengths and protect their weaknesses, then develop strategies based on the opponent's strengths and weaknesses. Yes, we concur. Berlin Americano, are we done? Oh, no. I have a non-soccer question. Is America going batshit crazy with wokeness? I have not been in the USA for a decade, but it just seems to me that a lot of guys are losing their minds. Cancel culture and virtue signaling has become a sickness. Wow. Well, I want to touch this with a pair of tweezers, frankly.
In the very definition of wokeness that you're using it as yes, there's definitely, and as far as the culture war is concerned, there's definitely a level to it. Yes.
I mean, there is something going on, right? Do I want to talk about it on this show? No, I don't. I really don't. Again,
just pointing it out that from the culture standpoint, there definitely is, and that's a lot of talk about. You go from movies, you go from all the different cultures, like movies, comics, just literature, TV, everything. There's definitely a level to it. It's definitely increased.
But there's also
there's that degree everywhere though as part.
There is a very nuanced discussion to have about it. Listen, there's so many degrees of this that if you're going to really talk about this topic, you would have to talk about it in a very contextualized way with a lot of details and a lot of descriptions. And some of it gets blown out of proportion. Some of it is right on the mark. I don't know. This is certainly not the venue I would talk about that. Maybe if I'm uncancelable at some point, I do a show talking about how I feel about this and that, how I think there's not a balance. But until then, I'm not doing it on a soccer show. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. But yeah, there is a war going on, or whatever you want to call it, a minor skirmish or a major skirmish, depending on your point of view.
It's a pendulum, and what's going to end up happening is it's going to come back full circle. It's just going to swing back around. Hopefully not to the opposite degree per se. I want to stop right there in the middle again would be ideal.
Wherever the middle is, because that keeps changing too. Again, this is a nuanced conversation. You cannot answer that question in 5 minutes. There's no way. Derek tonight when advocating for Berhalter out. Anyways, the pros had us play an organized system to look good at times. Better players in 2026 should make the system better too. Help start a youth tournament. Great job in getting dual nats.
Yeah.
Beat Mexico 3 times in 1 year. Yeah, shitty Mexico.
What the fuck's a youth tournament? Help start a youth tournament?
Yeah, it's not really the kind of youth tournament you're thinking about.
Okay, so it's youth. It's youth with the youngest squad in the World Cup type of thing. Is that what you're saying?
No, it was an under 19 porn competition for girls.
Oh,
Yes.
No, under 19. That's really limiting the number of participants there, Derek.
Yeah, 18, 19.
How about over 19? How about over 19 on that front? Let's be safe with this.
I don't know what tournament he's talking about.
Help start a youth movement, not even a tournament. So the youth movement would be, yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. The movement aspect would be us playing our young players, not relying on old players.
Okay.
I guess.
I don't see what choice he had, frankly. But
oh yeah, there's that giant hole in our talent gap between players who have retired and the youth.
You gonna play that limp dick Michael Bradley, who's been horrible for fucking Toronto this season? Really?
We could have played Josie Altidore though.
No, he's shit too. He barely plays in Mexico. Come on. The cons.
Oh no. Oh no.
I think the Epstein Cup was an under 16 tournament. All right. The cons. Second cycle is historically bad.
Yes.
Has favorites, usually bad players. Yeah, plays a constipated game. I get constipated just watching the games. Can figure out how to use a 9. Poor squad rotation. Never had a plan B. Vendetta against many players. Exactly. Huge ego. Thinks he's the smartest person in the room. Actually, here's the thing about Gregg. Gregg knows he's not the smartest person in the room. That's the problem. Deep down, he knows it, and that's why he overcompensates. And that's why when shit flies out of his mouth sometimes, it's the dumbest shit you've ever heard. Because he's trying to overcompensate with his insecurity by being extra arrogant. Extra arrogant.
Brooks is not informed. That's why he wasn't called up this window. But Gregg, he was on the Bundesliga Team of the Week just last week.
Yeah. He had
that's what we're looking for, I guess. Yeah.
Little thing in his back thing happened there. Yeah. He had a strain. That's what it is.
I will push back against the never had a plan B. Berhalter clearly had a plan B, and that was to sub in like-for-like players and play the same system.
There you go. It's exceptional. Your Honor, the evidence will show that Gregg is an expert of recruiting the youths of a dual nationality persuasion, but the evidence will also show that if I can quote one of the U.S. men national team philosophers of the time, technical manager, he is guilty of soccer terrorism. God bless America.
Did you say youths?
Youths.
I'm glad somebody's noticed that the thumbnail is actually a snippet from this movie. My Cousin Vinny.
A lot of fun.
Quality movie.
Yeah. I thought you said we had a couple. This is outrageous. All right, people of the jury, I would also like to point out that Gregg's 6 when he pees. Jose, you said that about me earlier in the show.
And you're not going to be coaching the United States national team. Thank you.
And I certainly do not sit when I pee. First of all, there are 2 reasons for that. One, that's more work sitting than just,
But it's good for the legs. It's constant squatting up and down. Like you pee up and down.
No, you got to get up after you do it.
Yeah,
I'd just rather stand there and lean against the wall and piss. And then the second one is, by the way, when you're really drunk, you don't want to be like slapping down the seat behind you when you're going to pee. If you're going to poop or pee, yeah, you hit yourself right in the nuts. So I try not to do that as much as possible. Prosecution. The system is ass. Offense. I'm the only other coach in the entire world that didn't die.
Yeah, it's hypothetical. It's not real. But it's like all the coaches in the world, the defenses, all the other coaches are dead. All you have left is Berhalter.
The system is ass. That's like Burger King's fries. They taste like ass.
Those are garbage. Absolute trash.
Taste like ass.
Horrid.
Definitely.
they changed at some point because they weren't bad like in the 90s, but then somewhere in the 2000s they changed the type of fry and it went shit.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Burger King since.
They
really.
changed
their fries. Why the fuck would you want to go there?
They changed their oil. The oil.
The fries came out. Yeah, it came out a little more like not crispier per se, but they taste different.
They taste funky with that oil they use. Oh yeah, where's that one guy who's like, all you guys ever do is fucking talking about dicks and ass and shit. Because you like it? Because you like dicks and ass? Like, yeah.
Derek, you're making this point right now. We're talking about dicks and ass.
We do. Yeah, we like it. You got a problem with that?
And like when people come up like, just talk about soccer. We talked about this last show. I was like, yeah, it's fine. We can jump into the conversation now. We've had like 30 minutes of non-soccer talk. But it was like, hey, is it your first time to the show?
Yeah.
People will come to understand that we don't just immediately jump into soccer talk. We wait for people to join.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to offend us by calling us in a subtle way the F word, which is what that guy was doing. He was basically saying we were Fs. Okay, well, let us know when between yourself, you're averaging. How many kids do you have, Brett? Two?
We have two.
Okay, I've got two as well. I don't think that I'm not saying that it hasn't happened before because you can be bi and have children, right? But sure. I don't think the reason we actually talk about all that is because we like sucking men's assholes and balls. That's not what we're here for.
That's like a leap right there, man.
I mean, we talk about other people doing it. We never talk about ourselves doing it. All right. Well, just to clarify, it's not something I think about when I wake up. I can't wait to suck a man's balls. If I could suck my own balls, I would do it. I just can't reach it because I'm a fat fuck.
Last show, you were talking about kids jacking off, and now you're talking about sucking guys' balls, man.
That's what that guy was saying in the comment. He was saying, "Oh, that's because you guys like to do that." Yeah, that is because we like to do it. I would do it if I could reach. All right.
So I wanted to bring this up before we close out here.
Okay.
But Pete says they ought to make the goals bigger is what my soccer-hating grandpa would say every time he'd catch me watching.
Thank you.
Glad to see Alexi embracing the next phase of life. So then I respond with, I can't help but think that Alexi simply dug into a bag of bad takes just to troll a slow-moving Twitter. Might as well have said no more PK shootouts. They will be determined. They will not. Oh, sorry. They will be determined. They will be determined by the crossbar game. Oh wait, that's actually not a bad idea.
I like that idea.
And then I got this. I don't know if Mr. Fizzle watches our show, but he says, "Glad to see you do no research. This all stems from someone saying soccer has never needed improvement." To which Alexi said soccer has been improved time and time again since its creation. Don't be lazy. Beside, he's literally listing examples.
What a fucking idiot. Why didn't you send me this?
Well, I was going to bring it up.
Mr. Fizzles is the fucking dumbest fuck ever to tweet.
So
this is the dumbest thing I have ever. I feel like I just lost 30 IQ points. Maybe more. Yeah.
I wanted to respond to him initially saying, bro, calm your tits. But I decided against something like that. And I said, I wondered what taking social media seriously looked like. Log off, take 10 deep breaths, and then rejoin the conversation. As someone in his comments pointed out, Lawless was describing indoor soccer. It's a troll.
He's literally reading that and going, those are great ideas, Alexi. When Alexi is just saying that as a fucking joke troll. And it's a bad joke troll because
I would hope this is a troll, yes. I'm hoping Mr. Fizzles is sitting there trolling me.
I don't think so. I think this guy's a fucking idiot. I think. Glad to see you do no research. Seriously, someone who starts off with their posts like that is usually pretty serious about themselves. So
it's funny that Joey brings up improvements like VAR, goal line tech. Let me jump back up to the top here because I have our conversation with our good friend Simon. So Simon says, none of these would improve the game. I'd leave it well enough alone at this point. And he said, how would you know? Said football is a perfect sport. Anytime we've tinkered with it, the new thing we've done to it has always taken us further away from the actual football. Example, VAR. Pundits spend more time talking about VAR than the actual match itself. And then I respond, the offside technology has become ridiculous. Offside by butt cheek should never happen. And Simon says, but what if you have a huge arse? Surely that's an unfair advantage.
Good point, Simon. That's exactly why you need to get rid of that. It should be calculated by the placement of your feet, not your dick, not your ass, not your earlobe, not your nose.
I'm kind of surprised Mbappe hasn't been called offside more because of that.
His dick?
Yeah.
All right. Maybe we need to have Simon back on the show.
We probably should get back on here soon.
Yeah.
If anything, it's fun content.
Mm-hmm. It would be fun. All right. I think we're done tonight, guys. It's been a blast. I've had a fun time. I'm extremely exhausted. I don't know why. I didn't sleep well last night. So that's a real big reason.
Get off Paramount. Go to bed.
Yeah. I'm going to watch it tonight because I got nothing to do tomorrow, which is awesome. I'm just going to watch all the final episodes of 1883. I'm already slurring, so I got to get off. Off the show.
Let's keep it going.
Off the show.
Until
the next time on the Straight Red Card, make sure you subscribe, and subscribe. Share it with grandma. Share it with anybody, like the people that aren't like morons. Share it with them. People with a sense of fucking humor who like to talk about other things, all things, because that's what we do here. All right, we'll see you on. Is it Monday? Yes.
Monday.
We'll see you on Monday. Till then, good night.
You're gonna do her. Yeah.
Oh no!